Hello and welcome. This is a short tutorial to show how to key a green screen made in home using construction paper. The intention is to show you how to bring it from this image to this image in a simple and effective way as quickly as possible. To begin, I am first going to adjust the color qualities on the green screen in the background. Because I made this using pieces of construction paper taped together, there's some irregular shadows in the background. To do this, I will first apply a Lumetri color effect onto my clip. Here I type in Lumetri color into the box. I choose the Lumetri color effect. I drag and drop it into my specified clip. I then move up to the Effects Control tab in the upper left hand corner. I choose HSL selection, choose a set color, and then I'm going to choose a color in the bottom right hand corner for my image where the green is a little bit darker. I then adjust the color bars underneath for the H and the S and the L settings. I play around with these until all of my green is selected and there's no negative space in there. I then scroll down to adjust the denoiser and the blur, and then move the color key to a green color, saturated color. I adjust the tint, contrast, and sharpen to -100, and then the saturation to 200. You can now see the color is a lot more saturated and not as gray and dulled out, and less shadows and contrast within the background. Much more even. The next step is to apply the key, which is Alter key. I select that within the effects panel, drag and drop it onto my clip. I then use the eyedropper to select a darker color in the background. In this case, I use the color from the bottom right hand corner where I know I had trouble getting enough light onto the corner. Under matte generation, I then adjust some of the values, playing around once to kind of even out the negative space so that the background, the green, it comes in as a solid black color. For shadow, I make sure not to go below 40. Transparency, I don't play around with too much because that'll make the figure transparent. Pedestal, you can play around with as needed. You're going to want to move these values around. If you're having trouble getting the color to go completely transparent, you can always choose another color by clicking the eyedropper and then selecting another darker color. The next step would be to remove the background so that the figure and the negative space are separated, so all other content in the background is gone. Here, I go to the opacity tab and I choose the pen tool where I can then make a selection around my figure. Additionally, you could use the rectangle or the sphere shape if that's something that works well for your project. I then want to go scrolling through my timeline to make sure that the figure does not intersect with this new path on the space. If that occurs, part of the figure may appear to be cut off and disappear within your animation. Following this, I'm going to want to find the background image or video to go behind my daughter to make it look like she's swimming in the ocean with the fish. Here I find the file, I drag and drop it in my timeline, I place it below the image of my daughter so that she is sitting on top of it. If I put it on top of it, she will be behind the image and will be lost. I then move her into a position to make it look like she's a little bit off to the side. In this case, I follow the rule of thirds to place her in the image so she's not dead centered in the picture plane. I then adjust the color balance on my daughter, who is a warmer color to something a little more cool, by using the color balance effect on the effects panel, which I dragged and dropped into the image. And then the final component of this project will be to shorten the length of the video clip with the fish so that it's the same length as her swimming, so that she doesn't appear and disappear within the image itself. To do this, I shorten the length by grabbing each end of the video clip on the fish, shorten it to the length of her clip, and then move it to the beginning of my timeline.